Alright, so welcome to my screencast of Twitter. I'm going to show you three examples, one from when I did this with my government dual enroll, one from when I did it with my civics class, and again when I did it with my AP class. So this first one, as you can see, is government dual enrollment. For this particular one, as I mentioned, I had students break up into groups and they focused on one article. So a group would, or a couple groups would do Article 1, a couple groups would do Article 2, a couple groups would do Article 3, a couple groups would do Article 4, and then there were some groups that would do Articles 5, 6, and 7 together. I gave them a few basic instructions and some Twitter advice, but basically let them go. As you can see down here, I started off with a little statement, tweet your article, and I gave them a preamble. This preamble I wrote, just kind of giving them an introduction and some ideas. And you can see that students really went for it. You know, they used a lot of abbreviations. They started to use their own language, to crib, to house, greater than. They created a abbreviation for House of Representatives. There's a lot of kind of slang, Davos, and things like that. So they really kind of took some ownership of it, and they managed to cram in a lot of things in all of these. So that was my dual enroll class. Next, I taught this with my civics class, so this was 7th graders. It was focused strictly on Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution. I was doing a unit about the judiciary system, and so I wanted them to read the Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution. So I had one group that would focus on Section 1 and one group that would focus on Section 2. You can see that they're not quite as into it as the dual enroll group. They wrote a lot more kind of full sentences, but they did abbreviate here and there. And they were using SC as an abbreviation for Supreme Court. And there's the states and the courts and things like that. So, I mean, there were certainly elements that they were trying to work in. Bye for now, and so on. Most recently, I did this with my AP government classes, and in this case, each group was supposed to come up with their own part, a preamble, and then I had Article 1 and so on. So you can see that this group is very much like the government dual enroll. They started to use HOR, Senate, and they started to use some language here. One group did create an account. Not really much in the way of hashtags for this class, but I have seen some classes that use hashtags. So this is kind of just a real quick overview of and some examples of what kids were doing with classes. As you can see, a lot of the earlier ones, they try to cram in certain information. The later ones start to get a little shorter, or they're more full and complete sentences, especially for Articles 5, 6, and 7, which you can really summarize fairly easily. So that's just kind of a quick example of what I've used Twitter for in the class.